In a busy part of town on Toledo's west side, on Secor between Sylvania Avenue and Monroe Street, lies a well-known business, Infinite Art Tattoo Studio, and its owner, Brian Monk Taylor. I was able to meet up with Monk and talk to him about his experiences, the tattoo studio, and his love for filmmaking.
How you doing? It's good seeing you. Yeah.
I've known Monk for a while now and got to dive a little deeper, learn more about him and how this all began.
The college that I attended was University of Toledo, and I believe I started in the early 90s. It was like 90 or 91. And I was majoring in fine art at the time. Going for my BFA.
I then asked him what his motivation was for attending the University of Toledo.
My motivation when I started college was to avoid the workforce. I mean, just like most people do. But ended up, just like yourself, I wanted to do something that I loved. I had done some manual labor jobs, and the one thing I learned from those is I don't want to do any more of that kind of stuff.
He attended the University of Toledo for about 2 years before making the decision to take some time off.
I quit, and I was like feeling pretty pressured, and I'm like, I'm going to just pay off some of this debt. And I opened this place at the time, the tattoo studio, and just never went back.
I was curious to see where he got the idea to open the tattoo studio.
I wanted to do tattoos, and I had worked for another place, but I did not agree with their business practices or the way that they did things, and anytime I would make a suggestion, they would kind of shoot it down. So I wanted to have, complete control over what I did with my business and clients and everything like that. So I'm a bit of a control freak.
Being open for 20 years, I was curious if he had met his expectations.
As that goes, I never dreamed it would get to the point that it is now. I mean, I was just thinking maybe 2, 3, 4 people tops. Wasn't thinking past that. And I mean, this year I'm celebrating my 20th year in business, and we've got 13 artists that work here. So exceeded it, yes, by leaps and bounds.
Infinite Art has won many awards in its 20 years in business, including Best Tattoo Studio in the City.
Yes, we have been voted Toledo's best tattoo shop for quite a few years running. Now this year they switched to Best Artist, and Sailor Woody won that this year. And he is celebrating his 25th year as a tattooer this year.
Aside from tattooing in the studio, Monk has another love for filmmaking.
Say that the filmmaking thing came about just as a love for that medium. When the digital age came around, all of a sudden, filmmaking seemed way more feasible than it ever had before. I always liked films and filmmaking and that, but it always seemed very daunting, buying film and getting it developed and cutting and everything. It just seemed very, just very expensive. But when digital came along and you could actually shoot something, dump it into a computer, and it didn't really cost anything other than the cost of the camera, that was very attractive to me at the time. As far as my filmmaking projects, I've done quite a few music videos for bands, that type of thing, which is nice because it's telling a short story. You get to tell like a 5-minute story. So you don't have to be, committed to anything really extremely long. I've done some short films. I've been part of a couple different full-length documentary projects. One was a documentary project a friend of mine, Guy Aitchison, was doing, and I shot the whole thing, and then he cut it together and entered it in a couple film festivals, and it got some attention. It was about 40 artists doing a live painting performance over a 5-day period at a tattoo convention that was called Interstate. And like I said, several other music videos, and just been working on that short horror film that's kind of stalled out right now, but I don't have a lack of ideas, but just a lack of time to execute everything.
I asked him what he learned about himself through filmmaking and what direction he wants to go with it.
What I learned about my love for filmmaking was that I'm not a video production guy. I'm a filmmaker. I want to do stuff that I'm passionate about. I don't want to do stuff for money. I don't want to produce other people's commercials. I don't want to shoot weddings, anything like that. I like filmmaking. I want to do films, and sometimes I'll run across something that somebody else wrote that I want to do, like, oh, this is a cool short film project, I'd like to shoot it, where they don't have the ability to do it, but I do. And sometimes I'll just write it myself and film it.
Brian Monk Taylor is indeed an amazing artist and well known and well liked in the Toledo area and loves what he does, whether it's tattooing or filmmaking. And as the old saying goes, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.